All right, so we're back here after the week one action. Lots to talk about. Had some ups, had some downs. Me personally, I had a down, but we're shooting for an up next week. You barely eked out a win.
What'd you say?
You barely eked out a win. Le'Veon really did you well.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Those dubs, baby. Put Casey Greggs in his grave.
Yeah. He was actually going to be on the show this evening. He ended up, he had some work stuff going on. I don't know if maybe he just didn't want to look you in the eyes or, what the case was. But, we pivoted. We were able to, secure the leading point scorer for the entire league through 1 week. I had him pegged as a top team last week, and it kind of held true. Jacob Manning, tuning in on the Audio Satellite Radio.
How's it going, fellas?
And we're live.
What's up?
How you doing?
Doing good. How about you guys?
I'm doing well. I'm admiring all of that Louisville stuff behind you.
Oh, man. It's my shrine. This is my little office. It's beautiful.
I like it.
I'll go ahead and brag about the most points. You guys better just get used to it for the rest of the year.
I've got to say that Cam Newton pickup really did you well.
Yeah, I forget who dropped him, but I was about to pick him up a while ago, and then something happened, and then whoever dropped him, I was ecstatic because Tyrod really shit the bed. So I was really happy I didn't have to play him.
Yeah, that was Danny boy dropped him randomly. I don't know why, but
Danny.
I think
Coach Campbell had to get under cap. He had a quite the slaughterhouse before week one.
Thought he was under still. Didn't know he went back over.
Well, he had that blunder during the draft, and we pivoted mid-draft, live draft,
was that the
and cut
Alshon. Who was that? With the Eagles wide receiver?
Yeah, so he got Alshon Jeffrey and cut him. So currently, he only has $388 worth of cap, where everyone else has $400.
Okay.
But he made it work in favor of Jacob Manning. Did you cut Phillip Rivers?
Oh yeah, he was $2, and then I was like, I'd rather have Cam because he's got the running ability, and Bill Belichick knows how to use his quarterbacks. So I figured Phil's kind of washed up, and I don't really know why I spent the $2 in the first place. So
wasted $2. Can't be doing that. Yeah. But Cam is a great pickup. I don't know if you guys saw that New England game, but it seemed kind of scary. It worked week one, but he was like he looked like Brandon Jacobs out there, just taking the sweeps, lowering the shoulder. Yeah.
Didn't make me feel too good. I don't want him to do that every week, but hopefully they get a little more passing heavy and he'll just be back to old Cam. I don't expect him to be top tier Cam, but hopefully as he's a top QB1, I'll be happy.
It's definitely reassuring. Is there anyone that you were surprised with week one, scoring so many points?
No, man. All my guys, the bounce back players, they're back. I'm telling you. Adam Thielen and Juju are back. I love my team, love my starters, but I'm really down to trade with anyone. I need some depth, so I badger John all the time, so just hit me up. I love trading, but the only person that's off the board is Clyde. So
that's fair. Now I will say, just looking at your points here, Chris Thompson really let you down. Seems like James Robinson kind of ran away with the job, at least for week one. We'll see what happens. Armstead about to come back as well, potentially, in a few weeks. Who do you think you'll start at flex this upcoming week, not having potentially
Josh
having
Kelly,
no faith?
easy.
Kelly?
Josh Kelly's going to take over your boy Eckler's role, or he's going to be the Gordon.
I certainly hope not.
No, but I do think he'll start to gain control of that second tier role in the Chargers backfield, and he'll be a viable second flex. But because he played my team, the Bengals, and he looked like the best back out there. But again, it's week one. You don't want to overreact. But we'll see.
How comfortable are you with Jack, Mr. Doyle?
Mr. Doyle. I was hoping he would be more of a Rivers go-to guy. We'll see. But honestly, I'm kind of leaning on Herndon to bounce to get back. But Jack Doyle was that safe play week 1, so I wanted to go with him.
Doyle got some action in the red zone, it seemed like.
Sorry, say that again?
Doyle was getting some action in the red zone, it seemed like. I watched some of that game with Seasons for You plug. Sponsored by Seasons for You.
I know, you're telling me about that. I need to get it. Yeah, I mean, if he's getting in the red zone, that's all you really need in a tight end is just a few touchdowns every once in a while. So it could work out. But
I'm looking at things
I'm interested
here.
in my matchup this week against team. Is it Mook or Mook? I'm assuming Mook.
It's Mook.
See, that's why you don't assume. He's got a bunch of young dudes, but a lot of star potential for the future. I'll say here now, I'm going to guarantee a win this week.
I was looking at Team Mook, and I feel like it's kind of actually like a dark horse to sneak into the playoffs. As I was,
I know, because we got
closely.
Jameson, PPR King, even though I know this is half PPR. And it all depends on Connor coming back with his health.
Yeah, can David Montgomery overcome his running back issues right now? Really, besides David Montgomery, maybe A.J. Dillon. I don't think he makes too much of an impact this year. Cam Akers, I think, could end up getting some work. Malcolm Brown was kind of the same deal last year. He was used a lot week 1, and who knows if he'll stick.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I think Cam Akers will eventually be. I think it's going to be a 3-tier monster, but I think Cam Akers will eventually become the top guy. So we'll see.
I could see that. I think you're definitely going to win this week, though.
Yeah,
I still stand by it. You have the studs. Juju, Thielen, Zeke. It's hard to overcome, especially if Cam finally gets his first passing touchdown with those rushing
along
yards.
with the rushing, that'd be
It's gonna be
big.
tough.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think I can get all the way to the playoffs and win the championship. But again, I'm gonna put some trade plug in there. I know I need some depth, so
Who's on the block?
hit me up. I told you everyone is on the block except Clyde.
Except
Literally
Clyde.
everyone.
Who's burning a hole in your pocket?
Who's burning a hole? Matt Breida. Get him off my squad.
What position are you trying to upgrade? Who should we come to you with?
Who? Young wide receivers and young RBs. That's kind of what I'm looking for. But I have 3 high-priced players, which makes it a lot tougher for me. So if you're able to take on a contract like that, and we're both interested, just come at me up.
We just might be in touch here soon.
Okay.
So let's run through some of the games last week just to get an idea of where we're standing here. The first one was the Quadrillionaires, which I believe is Justin Taylor versus Coach Danny Chample.
Yeah, Justin Taylor, rough showing for the first one. He had Miles Sanders out and Kenny Galladay out, so you figure that's 2 of his players, so that hurts for sure.
Absolutely.
That 52 points is a number I'm not sure I've seen before. It's pretty low.
Well, you know you're in trouble when you are starting Ian Thomas, John Ross. I mean, Carson Wentz only got him 13 points. It's definitely a fluke. There are better days ahead, but definitely, maybe a little bit of concern. Some alarms going off in Quadrillionaires HQ.
Yeah, I thought Hardman would be, or I liked Hardman a lot going into this year, but he did not get much action last week. They were throwing the ball to DeMarcus Robinson all the time.
Yeah, and Sammy, too.
DeMarcus had a few drops, so maybe that bodes well for McColl going forward. But there's still Klein, there's still Tyreek, there's still Kelsey, so definitely see him as more of a boomer bust. He needs Saquon to get back on track, Miles to get back in there. You would imagine.
And Kenny Galladay was out too. That's a rough start, man.
Definitely.
When you have Miles Sanders out, Kenny Galladay out, and then you have Saquon with negative rushing yards going into halftime.
Doesn't help.
It doesn't help. That's a rough start.
Now, Coach Campbell, surprised with his team. They won. Big Aaron Rodgers went off. Sony Michel may be a little more serviceable than some people imagine, and Austin Hooper definitely let him down, but nice bright spot on the bench, Carlos Hyde, maybe getting some work.
Yeah, Carlos Hyde actually had more rushes than Chris Carson, despite Carson scoring like 20 points. I think Carson only rushed the ball 6 times somehow, and then Hyde ran the ball 7 times and got a goal.
They let Russ cook, so I don't know who that benefits. I mean, it looked like it benefited Chris Carson in the beginning, but if they keep like passing the ball like they are, I don't know how good that is for Chris Carson either. And Pete Carroll said he's going to give it the hot hand between him and Carlos Hyde before week 1. I don't know what he said after.
I did hear he wants to run the ball more next week, but Russ was balling out, so I don't know why you come out and have to.
Yeah, man. That's good for whoever has DK Metcalf. It's good news for them.
Team Campbell trading for, I forget who else he traded, but he got Chase Claypool in that deal, and I feel like that's going to be pretty big for him going forward, because he didn't really have like the best future assets with how he blew the old cap pretty quick. But Claypool, maybe not this year he's going to contribute too much, but John knows I'm big on the old boy. And
I mean, that catch was pretty impressive. The one where he cut over 2 guys and did the toe tap. That was a nice catch.
That was filthy. Then the end around the polish off.
Yeah. I'd be pretty happy about him. I don't know. I don't think he'll get too much with. They targeted Deontay a lot and Juju a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But for the future, yes, I believe he'll be pretty good.
Agreed.
Team Campbell looking pretty solid through 1 week, to be honest. You would have to imagine Hooper gets a little bit of an upgrade. He has some options on the bench to get rid of, Conley or Everett. Mike Evans is definitely going to have more production than he had last week. And with Devontae Adams playing the way he is and really nobody else in Green Bay, he's got at least a stud there, I feel like he could be the Michael Thomas of this year.
So I gotta ask, how do you guys feel about Austin Hooper? Because that was I don't think he did that well in week, and I don't know.
Yeah, don't like him.
I don't either. I can't imagine. I mean, it's good for him that Njoku went down, but I think people overhyped him, and then it kind of tailed down, and now it's kind of a reality that he's not a good fit in that offense.
That was one of my least favorite contracts during the draft, because he was already cap strapped as hell, and then he threw 30 on Austin. Sucks ass.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he could. I don't know. He could bounce back. Like I said, Njoku's out, so maybe he bounces back, but hopefully not this week. Who Day Nation better stop him. But we'll see. That's the one question I have, because I love Alvin Kamara. I love Devontae Adams. But yeah, and he's got some good young kids. So
next game we have here, Mike and Tanner versus Team Mook. Mike and Tanner coming out on top by a pretty wide margin, and I know Jordan liked their team quite a bit to start. Mike and Tanner, you'd have to imagine you're just loving it even more after week 1. Mark Andrews looking like he is an absolute baller. Lazard putting up 16.2 points. McCaffrey, Jones, Drake all doing their share. Big Tom didn't have that great of a game, and he still had 20 points, so can't be too upset with that. Really the worst players on their team, Odell and Jarvis, you would have to imagine they figure that out.
Yeah, combining for less than 13 points between those two is pretty rough. But like you said, that should trend up from there. That should be one of the bottom numbers for those two. Alan Lazard paying off for them, because they randomly just picked him up off waivers after the draft and then tossed the 4-year contract on him at the time. I was like, where'd this come from?
Wonder King, man, he was supposed to be the number 2, but then Marquise Valdez-Scantling, I mean, he looks good too. So, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers plays the way he does, all 3 of those will probably be deep, solid players. So
yeah, MVS scored a real long touchdown. Mike and Tanner still looking like a good team, though. I know we don't talk about them too much, but I feel like they will definitely start to get better. And they have Njoku on the bench. I know he got banged up, but still had 12.5 points. He's pretty
They're
athletic.
just
But they
somewhat.
got Mark Andrews too, so I mean they're solid.
I hate the bench. Such good swapping power, so they're gonna need to stay healthy. But if they stay healthy, I like their
I
chance.
don't know, man. Danny Amendola was. I dropped Danny Amendola and I regret it. He's not a terrible pickup to have just kind of as a you got to throw in there last second. I mean, he's not awful. Trust
Scored
me, I
10
don't want
points.
much of Danny Amendola. But
They must have just snatched him because I'm looking at like the results for last week. So I guess it
they
doesn't.
literally did today. I was looking at. Yeah, they did today.
Yeah,
I
it's
believe they also got Myles Gaskin.
Oh,
They did.
okay. All right.
Well, I'm not seeing him on. Hold on. I thought they did too, but I don't see him. But I thought that I saw that too.
They're very active. Maybe they dropped him already.
I swore I saw they picked him up and dropped him.
Very
That's
possible.
entirely possible. Well, there's a guy out there for you guys if you need a guy.
I'll be right back.
They added Gaskin and then end up dropping him.
I see.
Okay.
But they also signed Logan Thomas, who had a good week one for Washington. Tight
did.
end. Maybe let him. So
Rookie
Yeah,
tight
no.
ends always struggle. Looked like Thaddeus Moss was going to be the guy there, but he's a rookie. He was only taken, I think, in like the 5th round. So maybe Thomas pays off.
Yeah, when I listen to podcasts, that's kind of a sleeper pick for tight end. I hear just Logan Thomas. He's
Really, anything can happen at tight end. You figure last year, Darren Fells had a few nice games, and
I mean,
Kinda
and
came out of nowhere.
it's Washington, man. The only person that's really secure is Terry McLaurin, and there's Steven Sims. I know you love Terry McLaurin, but I don't know. Steven Sims is nice, but he's still an unknown kind of. He came on hot last year at the end, but so I mean, he might be a target monster, Logan Thomas. We'll see.
apparently Logan Thomas is 29 and has been in the league since 2014
if I'm not
I've
mistaken,
never heard of him.
Logan Thomas.
as well.
If I'm not mistaken, Logan Thomas played for Virginia Tech, and I believe he was their quarterback.
He did indeed play for Virginia Tech, but I can't attest to the
I believe.
quarterback part. I would imagine you're correct, though.
Did you do some scouting on him back in the day, John?
I don't think he was pretty sick. I remember him being good. Yeah, former Virginia Tech quarterback.
It's a wild transition.
That sure is.
He
I
must
guess
be a big boy.
they were trying to put Tim Tebow at like H-back before he fizzled out. But Team Mook, you're going to have to imagine he is going to have quite a few headaches week to week trying to figure out which of these guys to start. David Montgomery starting out on the bench. You'd have to imagine he slides into the starting lineup. His wide receivers are going to be tough. Jamison Crowder, C.D. Lamb, Anthony Miller scored double-digit points. Deontay Johnson had a stinker of a game, only 7.4 points, but you'd have to imagine he rebounds.
Yeah, 10 targets still. So like, I don't know. That's valuable.
Mike Williams doing decently well. Goddard.
And you haven't even
20
mentioned his
points on
top
the
guy,
bench.
DJ Moore.
Well, DJ Moore's going to be locked in there, but he has, trying to figure out these flex people, it's going to be tough. You'd have to imagine there are going to be weeks where he's leaving somebody on the bench and he'll be kicking himself.
Well, he's got Scotty Miller, the next what's his name?
Wes Welker.
Welker. So
He was getting
there you
peppered
go.
with targets, it seemed like.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. That's it.
This next game here puts a real sour taste in my mouth. Snowstorm taking down the Army. His team looks good. The most players on a roster by far. I believe he had like 35 players, so definitely bound to get some gems somewhere in there. I would say the biggest thing I was surprised with this game, Darius Slayton went off. I have him in another league, so that was kind of nice. Paris Campbell was pretty surprising. Phillip Rivers really loves the slot, and he looked to Paris Campbell quite a bit, so I could see him being a unexpected star for the Snowstorm. Looking at his bench, Madison, he has a little bit of a high contract, but, still had double-digit points. McKinnon is definitely a bright spot. Zach Moss got in the end zone. James Robinson, if he sticks in Jacksonville, there are going to be some options there. Stashing AB, you never know what's going to happen with that mid-season. If he ends up on a team and everything works out, that could be a wide receiver one just kind of appearing out of nowhere. Ruggs played pretty well. I saw some of that game, and it seemed like he was playing really well.
Got hurt too. Yeah, he was. They were like feeding him the ball pretty big time early on. Then he got hurt.
Yeah, I'm looking at this team. I'm loving it for this year and the future. Mostly for the future, but man, he's got
tons of options.
Yeah, I believe last week I was quoted saying he'll get steamrolled, by John. But you just don't doubt Marty because it seems like every time you doubt him, it's just like the old bastard just finds his way in the championship time and time again. So.
You'd have to imagine that he will end up with a pretty good record. Maybe Curtis Samuel, a slight disappointment, but, at the same time, lots of options there. So you'd have to imagine
Sam balled out, too. He looked nice on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, he looks like and T.J. Hawkinson. Oh, my God.
Fant, I believe, has the Giants' old offensive coordinator that worked with Evan Ingram. So you'd have to imagine he gets a nice little bump as well. Yeah, definitely a team to keep your eyes on. My team, still a little bit of a work in progress. I was given a little bit of a gift with Marlon Mack tearing his Achilles. Dobbins performing well. That was nice to see that he was getting more work than Mark Ingram right off the bat, especially down at the goal line. 14.2 points, so he'll definitely be sliding into the starting lineup. Eckler, a guy that I still really like, but as you can see, it seems like those numbers are just inflated from Phillip Rivers. Jonathan Taylor had 6 catches week 1. And Hines, 8 catches. I think Marlon Mack may have gotten 1 before he got hurt. So, even though that Tyrod had pretty good success in the past with McCoy, need to see that translate with Eckler. So,
I think he still got almost 19 attempts, though. So, that's encouraging. So, I can't imagine he's going to get that low of points each time if he gets that. And it's like Clyde. Clyde got 0 catches. But I can't imagine that's how those types of backs are going to go going forward.
Yeah, I think that'll be kind of a bottom of the barrel kind of game for Eckler there with only 1 reception. I think they know how good he is in the receiving game.
You've got to hope so. Robert Woods, maybe one of my favorite players on the team. Old veteran. He's definitely a team captain for the Army.
Yeah. So how'd you feel about Gibson?
Okay. He only had 77 career touches in college, so you'd have to think there's going to be some type of growing pains and adjustment. He looked big on the, when he was playing. He looked pretty good. Definitely don't like seeing Barber getting the touchdowns, but at the same time, just more of the same from Peyton Barber. He's 17 carries for probably 2 yards and 2 touchdowns. So can't imagine that sticks. I was very pleased to see that Bryce Love didn't do very much. So it seems like they're trying to ease Gibson in ideally, but it didn't seem like McKissick did that much either. So
it just frustrates you with all those veteran running backs they're not productive, so I don't know why they're playing ahead of them. So
complete trash. They did win though.
A week before, I could have swore I remember seeing McKissick was supposedly the starter too.
Yeah, on the depth chart he was. But that's also that was from a beat reporter, so they don't really know exactly.
Indeed. Next up, we have your team. Obviously, Team Manning versus Team Jerry. How do you say Jerry's last name? Team Cahoot? Cahoot? And you've got to wonder if looking at things, if Malcolm Brown is able to stick around, he may be able to be saved. Mostert doing better than I think a lot of people expected. Carry on, I think he's as good as gone, especially with AP there. AP looked young, he looked rejuvenated, he looked ready to go. Mark Ingram, 2.9 points, especially with Dobbins and Gus the Bus getting work. You gotta wonder if he's freaking out. If Malcolm Brown sticks, then he's pretty good. But it sounds like we are expecting Akers to take on some more work. So.
Yeah, the thing about Mark Ingram, it's weird because the Ravens love him. So, they're not going to just kind of put him to the side completely. He's always going to be in a factor unless he gets hurt. Because they do love him, so they're not just going to completely replace him with J.K. Dobbins. At least that's my feeling, because
I'd agree.
He's their beating heart. He's their heart and soul. So
he's the Joey Porter of that team.
Yeah. Even though I hate Joey Porter, but yes, he is.
Jerry also has Latavius Murray on the bench, who had 15 carries, surprisingly. So
only 4.8 points though. Deebo Samuel coming back. He's hurt right now, but he'll be back in a few weeks. Jerry Jeudy, a big bun in the oven. So you gotta hope that he cooks soon to provide some
help. I don't know
help.
if you guys watched my boy AJ Green. He looked good. He should have had He should have had 2 touchdowns.
He looked
Joe Burrow
healthy.
failed him, and the last one was a terrible call to lose the game. But so he looked good, actually. He looked better than Tyler Boyd. He looked like he was back. It's just if he can stay healthy.
He did. He has D-Hop, had a billion catches, so that'll definitely keep him in the game week to week. Drew Brees having a stinker of a game too. You'd have to imagine he usually gets over 20. I'd imagine so.
Plus Dak on the bench, I'd probably give Dak the nod, especially with Michael Thomas out now.
Certainly.
But he's got a annual, so he should benefit from that for a few weeks.
Absolutely. And I know we already covered Team Manning, but one thing I did see that was interesting, your boy Chris Herndon, even though he only had 4.7 points, he had 7 targets and caught 6 of them. So that's definitely reassuring.
They only have him and Jameson to really throw to.
He did lose a fumble as well.
What?
I said he did lose a fumble, so that took away 2 points. So normally, 6.7 points for a tight end. Not great, but something he could maybe build on.
Yeah, Adam Gase is kind of he makes me nervous. So I don't really know what's going on in his head. So
he's a real nincompoop.
Yeah, Adam Gase is ass.
Yeah, I kind of hope that he gets fired and someone else comes in. If I'm being honest. So.
Certainly.
He's off to a good start for that. So
he is. He puts in his injured running back and is hurt to put in Frank Gore.
Hey, I got bad Frankie on the bench, and he's actually starting this week. So
yeah, that's a good start. A solid start. He's going to be the workhorse, so hopefully he gets some yards.
Yeah, Father Time has treated him well. So
Adam Gase loves him. So
now the next one we have here, straight cash homie Ryan Schilling versus one of the league favorites, Team Donkey Teeth, Eli Schultz. I had this one pegged as a game of the week and ended up Donkey Teeth just kind of running away with it. Schilling kind of getting caught in a stinker, starting Golden Tate, being out, last minute there on Monday night. Doesn't do him any favors. Gronk underperforming. DK Metcalf did step up. Chubb, you would imagine that he doesn't have a game like that every week. If it ends up being more of a split, though, that's going to be tough. He did have a few productive running backs on the bench. Certainly, you wouldn't want to bench them over Chubb, but if things
you
kind
don't
of stick
pay
like
your
that.
backup running back as much as you do if you're not going to go 50-50. So I don't know. Chubb made me nervous, but he is an amazing talent. I don't know how they're going to want to utilize him. And if you watch Baker play, I would just want to run the ball every time. And we'll show that on Thursday.
Thursday, you say? Thursday Night Football?
Oh, yeah. Got the Browns. Got the
I like
Brownies.
that. That's a good matchup.
Yeah.
Now, we did have Greg Olson on the bench. He performed a little bit. Deshaun Jackson, I do like. I think that he maybe gets a little more work down the stretch. Lamar doing what he does. So I think there's hope for Straight Cash Homie, but definitely no match for Team Donkey Teeth, who really ran away with it this week. Has Naheem Hines on the bench, MVS. If he ends up, kind of continuing on. I know he kind of flirted with this last year, though. He had a few big games early and then kind of fizzled out, but 17.6 on the bench. Also has Jalen Rieger, who, you would expect some more down the stretch for him.
He had a really nice catch for like 55 yards. Now, my one question about this team, and I talked to John about it, how would you guys feel about having 3 Falcons on your team?
Week 1, I'd feel great about
I
it.
kind of like it. I kind of like it, honestly. I think I said last week, I think Ridley could potentially outscore Julio in the whole year. Even Russell Gage had 9 catches for like 110 yards. So it's pretty freaking crazy that they were able to get all the receivers that ball that many times, because I think they were all at least over 6 or so catches. I know Julio had 9 for 150 or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, in another league that I'm in, I am loaded up with Rams players. I have Higbee, I have Woods, I have Kupp. I kind of like it. I think that it may make my team a little bit more consistent because they're going to be...
offense.
Yeah, no matter who gets the ball, there's a high chance that my team will be scoring points. So, some weeks you may have Kupp just going off. Some weeks you may have Woods getting a bunch of catches. But I feel like they're at least good for, at least 30 points between the 3 of them somehow.
And I feel like Atlanta's probably not that great this year. Their D's maybe not the best, so they'll probably be in throw mode a lot of the time. So for Julio and Calvin, at least, should be good.
So do you think Calvin pulls a Chris Godwin and takes over the number 1 fantasy?
Well, I think I like Calvin a lot. I think he's pretty sick. So I think he'll be a top 10 receiver this year.
I think so.
So I do play Team Donkey Teeth next week. I'm afraid that I'll get my teeth kicked in by the donkey. So, we'll be coming at him hard. Definitely have our fingers crossed, but it'll be a little disappointing if I start out 0-2. But, against 2 good teams. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, sir. Also love the name. Eli, love the name. But
Eli, I know you're watching. The next one we have here, Polish Bomber, Joe, versus Herman's Hermits. This one a pretty close game. Came down to about 7.3 points. Herman pulling out the win, even though Michael Thomas kind of let him down there. And Cooper Kupp. And Phillip Lindsay. Less than 15 points between the 3 of them. But, Russell Wilson looked absolutely unreal. He was able to pretty much carry his team. David Johnson looked like he's back. James Washington on the bench, definitely pretty nice. Don't know if he'll do that every week, though, with Deontay, only scoring 6 points. That'll be interesting to monitor. Jared Cook performed. He's a pretty good tight end. I think he finished as a tight end 1 next week.
Start both tight ends next week now, probably, especially with Michael Thomas out.
yeah.
Phillip Lindsay out as well. It's going to be...
I was about to say, who's he starting at RB2? That's
well,
Yeah, he's out with turf toe now, so...
Herman's Hermits, I know you're watching this.
He's got... I don't know, that's a tough one, man.
I know you're watching Herman's Hermits. Myles Gaskin is out there. He could be yours.
Yeah.
But waivers go at 12 p.m. tonight, so maybe he's already gone.
That's true.
Should hit the
Unless Mike and Tanner picked him up again. That's impossible.
Last game we have here, the Schmeltekazi Pilots versus Team Greg's. Another really close game. less than 4 points here, but Schmaltakazi coming out on top for the inaugural week 1.
That's what we do. We don't care if it takes us killing ourselves into playing to win a victory, but we'll take it out. It's a bit of a barn burner, but Chris Godwin is in concussion protocol, so I'm probably gonna. And then Devontae Parker also has hamstring issues. George Kittle has something with his knee. He's supposed to play apparently, but I don't know. We'll see. Probably have to put in Marvin Jones this week, which isn't that bad.
It's a solid pickup with Kyler. Honestly, he looked like he was going to be a top 2 QB the rest of the season. He looked like he could do anything he wanted, running like it was effortlessly. So I don't know. That's a solid pickup for you.
Yeah, he was feeding DeAndre Hopkins too. DeAndre had 14 catches, and then I don't know how many targets, but
I think he had 16, which is insane if you think about that. Well, it's a new team, no preseason. Well, you do have Tony Pollard, so I really hope that doesn't come into play for you.
as I'll be dancing.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting
I do like
seeing
it too.
Pollard get some work with Zeke on the field as well. I think he got like an end around, and they were using him.
Yeah, but like I was looking at the stats. He didn't get nearly as much as he did at the end of last year. So I don't know if that's encouraging. Mike McCarthy hopefully just sticks with his workhorse. Be the man.
Zeke's got that too, so take the ball out of his hands.
Now,
Don't do that.
if Galladay is back, do you think that you'll still start Marvin over Devontae?
Maybe. Devontae has that hamstring, so, and I'm pretty sure he played part of last game. That's just the most annoying thing when you got players with nagging injuries, but they keep playing, and then you start them, and then they are out and constantly on the sidelines. Just just sit out a week, and then we'll get this man back to health and playing well here.
Yeah, he's a frustrating player, but he's an amazing talent. So, go Cards.
I was gonna say, you boys up there, you're holding.
I thought he would be way better than he was, or than he is.
Started to finally show it last year, so
No.
see if he keeps it up. Then the old Greg's, Le'Veon Bell. I was already concerned about the old Bell entering the season, but it's already looking pretty ugly for him. Should be out for a few weeks at least.
Certainly.
But Melvin Gordon, I guess, is trending up with Philip Lindsay getting hurt now, so it's
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And Joe Mixon will step back. He'll bounce back. AJ Brown's good. Marquise Brown had an amazing game. But I guess that's kind of where he stopped.
Is there maybe some cause for concern for his wide receiving group? Corey Davis looking like he may be, resurrected from the grave.
Not buying it. I have seen this too many times. Corey Davis, I bought so much stock in 3 years. Every time he does this, no, not buying it.
Russell Gage definitely not gonna. You would imagine definitely not gonna have that performance week to week.
12 targets for Russell Gage. I mean, yeah, probably not that performance, but he might be serviceable. I mean, he's only 24 years old, so perhaps they like him a good bit down there.
Could happen. That would come at the price of your precious Hayden, I'd imagine.
Yeah, that would suck, wouldn't it? He made that catch. He made that sick catch. He dove out boom.
That was pretty early too, and then it not too much after that they were all going to Russ.
Yeah. And he's got the solid Travis Kelce. So he's
huge advantage against his opponents.
So Jordan, I meant to ask you, were you nervous about the hyperextension on Kittle?
It definitely didn't look good when I saw it live. I was like, oh, shit.
He had that same injury last year, didn't he? And he set him back a couple of weeks. He had a hyperextended knee, but it was on the other knee, I think.
Is that what it was? I couldn't remember if it was that or a shoulder or something. But I was pretty big believer in the old Hayden Hurst It's only one game. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to bail on him quite yet. Yeah, they say Kittle supposedly will play this weekend, but if not, we'll get by for a little without him. I'd prefer he not play if he's still feeling like shit. Get my boys healthy and back up the speed.
Yep, I hear you.
AJ Brown going to be a person to keep our eyes on, I think. He had a ton of hype coming in. Eight targets, 5 catches for only 39 yards. No Chris Harris on that team anymore. AJ Bouye was out pretty early. Who was covering him? Who was bottling him up that much?
I can't even say their name, but I'm not worried if I were him. Don't overreact to week 1, but
I
Brandon
like
Cooks is interesting as well.
Mark, I think it's going to be pretty nice.
Brandon Cooks could be kind of interesting. You'd have to think he rebounds a little bit. He's with a new team, but Will Fuller definitely seemed like the guy there.
Oh, easily. He had the quietest 100-yard game I've ever seen. I didn't even realize that he went over 100. I feel like it was a toss-up between who the top guy would be between Cooks and Fuller, and it looks like it's just going to be Fuller.
Yeah, after week 1. We'll see if he can stay healthy. I guess the same goes for Cooks.
Yeah, I mean, he gets a concussion every 3 games, it feels like.
Mm.
Who do you guys? Who are you looking forward to seeing week 2? What matchup? It may be a little selfish again, but I feel like
because you always go to it first. I promise.
I feel like my matchup is kind of intriguing. I feel like I'm a really solid team. Sounds like you guys agree. Team Donkey Teeth, one of the best in the league. I could be going down 0-2 this week.
That is true. That is a big matchup. I forgot you said you played Eli.
Put me in quite
that's a
the
big
hole.
one.
I like Team Chamble versus Team Greg's here. Hometown friends there, so that'll be a nice little rivalry for them. And I like to see Team Chamble jump out to a nice 2-0 start here.
Silence the haters.
Yeah, get the team rolling after debatably piss poor managing the draft, but so far 1-0. So
You'd have to imagine that Team Snow will likely go 2-0 this week. Paris Campbell looking really solid. Fant looked like he does play Pittsburgh, so it'll be interesting to see if we are able to keep him in check. But that'll be an interesting one to see. Get a little taste of Joe Burrow tomorrow, so some early game action, especially with Justin Taylor's week 1 output. It's gonna be some tough sledding.
let's state right now, if Kenny Golladay plays, I'm pretty sure Miles Sanders is supposed to play.
That's what I was about to ask, if Miles Sanders is back.
I'm pretty sure he participated in full today. If they both play, the quadrillionaires will crack 100 points this week. That's
You heard it here first, folks.
I like that. I like that team. I like the quadrillionaires. They just had some bad luck week 1. You can't have John Ross in your lineup, I'll tell you that. It's not a viable play for you.
yeah, flash in the pan last year.
Yeah, just 1 week too. But no, I think he's got a shot if Miles Sanders and Golladay are back.
Team Manning versus Team Mook. I would have to go with Team Manning here. Too many proven studs. You know what you're getting.
Amen, brother. So I like to hear. But if Mook, I know I'm saying it again. If he's a degenerate gambler like me, I'll gamble $20 on the game. So just
I'm not sure if he is. You might be able to hit him up with that offer.
Okay.
He was sending that video, that hype video. You'd have to think that it's at least something he'd think about.
That's true. That's why I had to assume. I never met him, but you don't send that out unless you can back it up. So.
Schilling versus Jerry. That one will be interesting. Both trying to avoid 0-2 starts, but this one I'm kind of split on. I feel like both sides look pretty solid. Obviously, Schilling has Lamar, so That can really win you any week, as well as Derrick Henry. So I'm going to side with him for now, but I feel like that one will be kind of close.
I'm gonna take Team Kahoot as long as he makes
I agree.
switches.
Did you see Rob Gronkowski? Man, he looked old. I mean, and then you got Greg Olson, who is old. I don't know about that situation. I didn't see that, but yeah, I'm going Cahoots on that one.
Yeah, if Schilling has a real chance, I feel like he's got to take Kenny Stills out and put in the ageless wonder, Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I would play him. He had 14 rushes for 93. I feel like AP, every time he switches a team, though, he always comes out pretty hot. But
what are your thoughts on Robbie Anderson? You think it's a real thing?
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's tough to say.
I was big on Robbie last year, like entering the season. Felt like, all right, Robbie's the guy in New York for Darnold. And then, like, he was just like, was he hurt last year for part of it? I don't know, but I remember him being like, nothing really. So it's I don't know how much I believe in the Louisville Teddy B to get him the ball.
Hey man, he threw the most down the field passes. Yeah, he's good, man. Give Teddy Gloves some chance, man.
Teddy Two Gloves. His knees fell apart, and he's back at it. Eight targets, 6 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown. Pretty solid, especially when the defenses are just going to be keyed in on McCaffrey. So, but at the same time, actually thinking about it this week, I feel like the Buccaneers are going to have a chip on their shoulder. They're going to score a lot of points. Maybe Carolina has some garbage time going on.
Yep, and you got to focus on DJ Moore. I don't know. I like him. I feel like he's a Deshaun Jackson type. He'll get you those massive games, but he'll disappear. But I like him.
Mm-hmm.
Polish Bomber versus Mike and Tanner. Got to go Mike and Tanner with this one. There are too many areas of concern, compared to looking at Mike and Tanner's team. If Lazard, especially if he's able to repeat what he does, those running backs are tough to keep your eyes off of.
Well, I wonder if we'll see the old Benny Snell in the lineup for Polish Bombers this week.
You'd have to
looked good. He looked real good.
He did indeed. Just seemed like he was falling forward for a couple extra yards every time. Unlike Connor, he was just getting swallowed whole every time he touched the ball.
When I was the number one waiver pick, and I considered picking him up. Like, I was watching him, he looked amazing, but unfortunately, he was picked up by another team. So I didn't want to waste it this early. So.
Mm-hmm. It didn't even cross my mind. I was like, for some of my leagues,
definitely surprising. Who we have next here? Herman's Hermits versus Schmeltekazi Pilots. You'd have to imagine that it's going to be tough for Herman's Hermits with no Philip Lindsay or Michael Thomas. He's got a fork in him right now.
Yeah.
Maybe he will look to make some trades.
Come at me.
Yeah, that is tough with his.
Yeah, man, I'm looking at his team. He's got,
Yeah, I would swap Jared Cook for Michael Thomas. That's for sure.
Well, and Philip Lindsay for either Coleman or Burkhead.
Don't like hearing that.
No.
Frank Gore's going to run the ball down his throat this week, though. That's for sure. There's one thing I know.
That's going to be tough, though. He's playing the, I don't know. I would maybe reconsider that.
You'd put Fournette in.
I think I would. They're playing the 49ers. They just came off a loss. I feel like the 49ers are going to be playing well. The Jets suck, so maybe they, go down a score or two, and Big Bad Frankie is not on the field.
That is true. And the San Fran's defense is pretty stout, but I lean towards Frank for it. But
Herman's Hermits versus Schmeltekazi Pilots. You'd have to imagine that it's going to be tough for Herman's Hermits with no Philip Lindsay or Michael Thomas. He's
Yeah, or
got
my-
a fork in him right now.
Yeah.
Maybe he will look to make some trades.
Come at me.
Yeah, that is tough with his.
Yeah, man, I'm looking at his team. He's got, yeah.
Yeah, I would swap Jared Cook for Michael Thomas. That's for sure.
Well, and Philip Lindsay for either Coleman or Burkhead.
Don't like hearing that.
No.
Frank Gore's going to run the ball down his throat this week, though. That's for sure. There's one thing I know.
That's gonna be tough, though. He's playing the. I don't know. I would maybe reconsider that.
You put Fournette in.
I think I would. You know, they're playing the 49ers. They just came off a loss. I feel like the 49ers are going to be playing well. You know, the Jets suck, so maybe they, go down a score or two, and Big Bad Frankie is not on the field.
That is true. Frank, and the San Fran's defense is pretty stout, but I lean towards Frank for it, but it's a tough call.
Definitely. You've got to be hoping for those touchdowns with Frank.
I'm kind of leaning Frank Gore because I just really want to start him anyways, I feel like.
The nostalgia.
Looks like you already got this one wrapped up, so why not give the old man a shot?
Yeah, make it a little
revenge
interesting.
game. Or revenge against the 49ers. 10 years later, after he's been on like 30 other teams in the league.
I'm down to trade. I love my team, but I need to maybe get some depth and some youth. So hit me up. My number is 859-394-2734.
We'll put it up on the screen here down below so everyone sees that.
I can't imagine too many people are going to watch this video, so I'm comfortable saying that.
All one of you or two of you that are still watching, text Jacob right now. Do it.
Well, good night, boys.